Hey guys, welcome to my review of Doctor Who Season 11, Episode 1, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. Now this review is significant for two reasons. One, because in the 55-year existence of the show, this is the first time ever that the Doctor is being played by a female. And two, because it's the start of a new actress, in this case, Ye, playing the Doctor. So this is the opportune point in time if you want to jump on to the series. If you've never seen it before, this is the time to do it. Now, for those of you who don't understand what Doctor Who is about, it's basically this. It's about a time traveling alien who protects England and the United States from all sorts of aliens throughout time and space who want to cause this beautiful world that we call home harm. And he does it with companions. Now, the cool thing about this alien is that when he gets gravely injured or he gets too old, he regenerates. And every cell in his body becomes anew. And often when that happens, that gives the actor who has been playing the Doctor for however many years a chance to step away and for somebody new to take on the role. So hence, that's why we've had 13 different people play the role of the Doctor since the classic series. And I would have to say that I really enjoyed this episode, specifically because it was a nice solid way to introduce new companions, the new Doctor, of course, and more importantly, the new showrunner, the new directors, and the new composer. I thought that this episode primarily was a diversion from most of what the show had been under Stephen Moffat, Russell T Davies back in the day. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved the Stephen Moffat era and I love the Russell T Davies era, of course, but I think that this era is going to take Doctor Who in directions that it has never gone before, and that's in no small part to the acting of the new Doctor, Jodie Whittaker. I thought when she came on the scene and when she fell through the roof of the train car, when she made her introduction in this episode, I thought it was great. I mean, all throughout this episode, she was very scatterbrained, which really reminded me of specifically Matt Smith's Doctor, and she had the quips of a David Tennant Doctor, which I particularly love. Matt Smith and David Tennant were my first Doctors. I enjoyed Peter Capaldi, and with time I learned to appreciate him and love him in his own way. But when people ask me what was your first Doctor, I'll always tell them that my journey with Doctor Who began with two Doctors. I caught David Tennant towards the end of his run, and I loved all of Matt Smith's run as a Doctor. So now that I look at it, my first Doctor was Matt Smith, really. So so I love that Jodie is kind of bringing the childhood wonder of the Doctor back, as it were. Now, some people are complaining that this episode to them wasn't Doctor Who enough. To which I say, come on, people! It's the first episode of this brand new era of Doctor Who, and you have to give the people behind the scenes time to find their footing in this new world. I mean, Chris Chibnall is not new to Doctor Who. He started writing on Doctor Who in the Moffat era. So he's not new to Doctor Who. But Jodie and everybody else, from what I'm aware of, are new to the property. So you can't write off this new era of Doctor Who after one episode. So I hope those people who are on the fence about this episode of Doctor Who, this new era of Doctor Who rather, give it a chance. I thought the villain in this episode was really, really sort of middle of the road, but he was fine for a first Doctor story as this was. I thought that his design, in particular, his whole thing that once he killed humans, he would break their jaws and take their teeth as trophies. I thought that was really creepy and that was really entertaining. I like the new companions. My favorite new companion is Graham, the old guy, because I really like the way that he really I think speaks for the audience in the most part, rather more than the other two at this point, because he says what most of us would be saying. I think if we ever encountered the Doctor, as the series goes along, he'll represent us in a way. I like the new companions. They're okay, you know. I like Yasmin more than I do Ryan at this point. I wasn't surprised that Graham's wife got it at the end of the episode. I saw a lot of people online saying that they were surprised and disappointed that she was gonna get it at the end of the episode, but I saw it coming a mile away, and I wasn't surprised at all. Oh, by the way, her death scene was emotional, and it was very well. It was very well done. So I give Chris Chibnall props on doing that and for making this episode of Doctor Who extremely different. They filmed it in a different way. I loved it. I'm not sure about the music because I really have no opinion on the music yet. I mean, this series, this episode started out without the opening titles of the series. We'll find out what those are going to be next Sunday. So I'm really interested to see what the opening title sequence looks like now. And the score, I need some more time with it. I have no opinion of it after just one episode. I love Jodie Whittaker. Just based on this one episode, she might be one of my favorite Doctors. I know that's quick, but I have a reason for that. I've been watching Jodie Whittaker since she was on Chris Chibnall's Broadchurch, so I already have that predisposed love in my heart for Jodie Whittaker as a Doctor. You know, if you look at it that way, you shouldn't take my opinion into account. I've loved Jodie Whittaker before she became the Doctor, but I think that Jodie Whittaker is going to be an awesome 13th Doctor, and she's going to do some crazy ass shit that we haven't seen any Doctors do in this reincarnation of Doctor Who. One more note. There's a scene in this first episode where this guy, who I assume is drunk or whatever, is throwing food at the alien and he's talking to it. And I'm like, dude, you are in the street right now, you're probably drunk, and you see a big metal alien, and your plan is to throw food at it? Yeah, so that's the only scene in the entire episode that I cried foul, and I said, this is just absolute rubbish. And I hated that. But everything besides that, I loved, and I thought that was well done. And this episode was really enjoyable for me, and it was fun to see Jodie Whittaker finally play the Doctor after months of thinking about how she was going to play it. It was nice to finally see her begin to take the role and begin to make it her own. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the series premiere of Doctor Who Season 11, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. What did you think about it? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Comment below and let me know in the comments. Just so we're clear, I'm going to try and review every episode of this season. Thank you for watching, and as I always say, I'll see you when I see you. I got so excited talking about the first episode of season 11 of Doctor Who that I forgot to give a rating. So my rating for this episode would have to be an A-.
So much happened here, and so much is about to.